name is Andrea. I know both Jada and Laura and Anna, and I worked with Jada's application and met Anna and Laura in Brazil very recently at the beginning of March. And so what I'll have my ambassadors do is just introduce yourself and tell me where you're from, and then tell me a little bit about what you do at Ross, what your activities are, interests. Okay, we'll start with how about Bettina?
Hi, I'm Bettina. I'm a sophomore right now, and I'm in tennis academy.
Cool. Sophie?
I'm Sophie. I'm German French, and I'm also in 10th grade. And what I do at Ross is like a lot of economic stuff, but also some art classes like digital arts and also surfing.
Cool. Out of curiosity, did you surf before you came to Ross?
Well, I've been windsurfing my entire life, but it's like really different from like wave surfing. So it was I kind of started, which was scary, but it was a lot of fun too.
Cool. Emory?
My name's Emory, and I live on Long Island locally, so I'm a day student, and I'm in 11th grade, and my main hobby is playing piano, which I love to do at Ross.
Cool. And India?
Hi, I'm India. I'm a senior at Ross. I've been here for like 15 years, and I started in kindergarten. And at Ross, I'm a part of the Language, Culture, and Community Club that I started. It's like a homework help club for boarders and day students. And I'm also a dancer.
Cool. Cool. Hey, Nina, did you have to use the password to get on just now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties, but I'm glad you got the email. Cool. So this might be, like I said, it might be a little low in attendance because of that, but we're glad everybody's here. So this ambassadors just introduced themselves, and I'm going to ask them to share with me if they could share one thing they wish they knew about Ross before they went. What would that be? And anybody who wants to start can start with that one.
Okay, I think I could start. So I also said it in the other meeting, but I'm gonna say it again because I think it's just really important. I wish I would have known that I don't have to wear blue socks as like part of uniform every single day, because I actually like bought blue socks for Ross, and it's really not that strict. And I also wish I knew that like it's like okay to ask for help, or like if you're interested in something and you know this teacher particularly like knows a lot about that stuff, it's okay to like ask for like their opinions and stuff. And I was just not used to that in my old school.
Cool. I shared that with everybody in our admissions meeting today. I thought that was really funny. But it's probably important to note that while the uniform policy is there and in place, it's not always the strictest enforcement. Not that I should be telling you that as an adult, but it's pretty lax. Yeah. Anyone else?
I wish I would have known like the extent of the resources that Ross has. Like, I wish I could tell my like past me to take advantage of it, because like they're really there to help you through everything. Like, and you can ask for help, like Sophie said, you can always ask for help, and they're always going to be there. So I just wish I would have known that before.
I wish I had taken more electives. Ross offers so many different types of classes, and I wish I took more risks in terms of the classes that I took. You know, they're all of them are really quirky and interesting, and some of them are very strange and really cool. And I feel like I stayed more towards my main focus, which was languages, but I do wish that I had known the extent to which, you know, Ross offers so many courses, so that I could have a couple more.
Sorry, we got new joiners. So quickly for the people who just joined, we had some technical difficulties. I assume you found the password, and so I appreciate it. And but we're glad you could join us. And currently, we're asking the student ambassadors if what they wish they knew before coming to Ross. And don't be afraid to be repetitive too, because these are all new people. So I also want to say too about these student ambassadors is that Ross is a relatively small school, big enough, to offer quite a few things, but we have, when I say these are student ambassadors, these are students who obviously have had a good experience at Ross and volunteered for this position, but I want you to know that there are about 40 to 45 student ambassadors at Ross. And now when you consider that our upper school is about 250, that's a pretty big chunk of students who want to share their Ross experience. And in my experience, that's a lot of students. So we're very pleased with our ambassadors. So they're here because they want to be, certainly. So Emory, can you share what you wish you knew about Ross before you came?
I wish I knew about just how much the teachers went out of their way to help you. I wish they had taken more advantage of extra office hours and extra help from the teachers, because at Ross, people just, especially the teachers, they make so much time and they have so many hours and they're really there to help you learn and just progress through the class well.
Yeah, great. Can you, I'm gonna ask this question of everyone again, can you share maybe an experience at Ross you don't think you would have had anywhere else? You think it is pretty unique to Ross?
I think the best part about Ross is making friends from all over the world, which I know I said in the earlier meeting, but like my Snap map is very full now with people from all over. And it just makes me so happy to get to know people from all different countries and all different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
I also found it really interesting at Ross that they let you choose what you want to study. We have these independent studies, and basically what you can do is you maybe find some other students and a teacher who are interested in the same topic as you, and then you can like make your own class and study it as an elective. And I've been to a couple of schools before, and I've never seen anything like that where it was just like so free, like you could do whatever you wanted if it's like something that you would like enjoy to work with.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best part about Ross for me is the teachers. They are so friendly, and over time they really become like your best friends. You can call them by their first name, and sometimes, most of the time, and they're just really open and free. And although they are strict in terms of homework and deadlines and stuff like that, they will always help you if you struggle, and they'll always be fair, and they'll always figure out a different alternative if a project doesn't fit your needs or your abilities. So that's really great. They're all very flexible and really, really great to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is especially geared more for like Brazil, but I'm Brazilian and I went to public school here in the US for a couple years. So coming to Ross, I feel like it's really unique about a boarding school is that there's a lot of Brazilians here, so it really feels like you're home. And like, yeah, like you just feel ingrained in your own culture, and it's really nice.
Cool. So how can you share, let's talk a little bit about, well, okay, first of all, I'll say to everyone who's a guest in the meeting, if you have questions at any point, you can always put them in the chat, and I'll ask for you. But I'm curious to hear a little bit about everyone's like field academy experiences, because I think that's something that's really unique to Ross. And I know that India's been going to school here since she was in kindergarten. And then we have Emory, who's been here for a few years, and then Bettina and Sophie, who are new this year. so you just have the one experience. But what is share, if you could share something about your field academy experience, what would that be? Start with Emory.
So I had a really great field academy experience, but it was kind of unexpected this year. We were planning to go to Japan for a field academy, and we're all very excited, and that was going to be such a great experience. But then because of the coronavirus, we had to cancel it. And then within 3 days, the school was able to come up with a whole new trip that was 2 weeks long out west across the United States. And we didn't expect it, but it turned out to be like such an amazing experience. And I think we bonded over it a lot. And I came back with so many new friends, which is something that always happens on Field Academy. And I think is one of the most valuable parts of it.
Mm-hmm. In the earlier sessions, everyone mentioned the bonding experience you feel on a trip like that. Was there I'm going to call you out, Emory, was there a moment or a thing, like an activity or something you guys were doing that it was especially bonding?
Well, there were so many fun activities on the trip, but I think one of the most like bonding and exciting parts was when we went on a helicopter ride, because it was kind of intense and we're like hanging out of the side of the helicopter, like going over Las Vegas. So that was kind of bonding because it
Cool.
was intense and kind of fun. Mm-hmm.
Was that one of those helicopter rides that goes over like the Grand Canyon and comes back or something?
It was actually over Vegas. So it was over the strip. It was like the last 2 days of the trip. We were in Vegas, and we saw like all the big hotels and all the big high-rise buildings. It was super cool.
Cool. Very cool. India, what did you do for Field Academy?
All right, so for
Okay.
almost all the field academies, I haven't really gone abroad because I was kind of afraid to, but I definitely regret it now because I've heard so many amazing things about all of the trips. So I've stayed on campus, so I can tell you all about all of the on-campus courses because I've basically done every single one of them at this point. But they are absolutely fantastic. If you don't want to go abroad and you just want to stay on campus, I don't feel like you're missing that much. I mean, I always have a really, really fun 3 weeks. And again, it's still bonding, even though we're not in a foreign country. We're always doing something fun and interesting, and it always gives you the opportunity to kind of learn from your classmates. So I did an art course for the past 2 years, and I am not an artist. I have no artistic skill at all whatsoever, but I joined it anyway. I was brave because I wanted to see if I could test out a new side of myself. And everyone in my class was basically professional, but they really helped me along. They guided me. I learned so many different skills from each of my classmates and from all the teachers. Our theme this year was artist studios. So Ross planned a really great, well-structured M-term where we were able to work in the class together and create our projects and murals and stuff like that. And then we'd leave and go off campus like twice a day sometimes, and we would go visit other artist studios in the local region, and it was just really cool to see, you know, first at hand where these artists create their masterpieces. And we went all the way up and down Long Island. We also went to the city, and we went to like about 5 or 6 different museums, which was really great. And we also visited some artist studios in the city as well. So it was really a great immersive experience into the whole art world, and it allowed me to see a different side of, you know, the own place I live in, and it allowed me to explore a different side of myself and make new friends. Yeah, so it was really, really fun.
Cool. How about you, Bettina?
This year I went to Cyprus, and it's their photography field academy. And since I'm in tennis academy, I can't really take electives, and photography is like the one elective that I really wanted to take. So I took advantage of that field academy, and it was just like, I've really found something that I really like doing, and it was so great. Like, you got to connect to to these really amazing photographers who are like kind of famous and like have so much experience in their workplace, and like everybody else said, like the bonding experiences, and it was just such a beautiful country. Like, seeing all the amazing sights and the views, and being able to photograph that and document that was just incredible.
Cool. For India and for Bettina, did you come out of this these experiences with like work you're really proud of? Do you have photos that you love now that you took, and did you make anything, India, that you're proud of?
I definitely tried. I mean, I don't know. I did better than last year, so I think I improved. over the past 2 terms, I didn't create like a masterpiece. If you saw it, you wouldn't go, wow, but it's definitely good for me.
Good. And Bettina, do you have like, what are you going to do with your photos that you love?
I mean, I like my mom's a journalist, so I was really into the documentary part of it. So I feel like I definitely got some pretty good like documentary photos. And I mean, I'm not gonna like do anything with them because I guess it's just a hobby. But I was kind of proud of them.
Good. Good. And Sophie?
I went on the Cuba Field Academy, and it was 15 days, and we were 16 students and 3 teachers. And the first few days we were in the capital in Havana, and we learned a lot about the people, and we visited a lot of art projects for the community. And then after that, we traveled along the island, and we saw a lot of places, a lot of cities, and it was also a Spanish immersion class. Um, so we learned a lot of Spanish too, and we tried to speak Spanish too, but like none of us really were able to actually speak Spanish well. So it was definitely like sometimes challenging, but like in a good way. And we studied the economy and history and just like their whole system a little bit, and got to meet a lot of Cubans also, and it was uh, a really fun experience. And we also had to like kind of do like some work, but it didn't really feel like work because like we enjoyed doing it. We had these what's this called?
A
Oh,
notebook?
that's a journal. We had a journal, and and basically every day we got to write 1 page about our experience and what it felt like to like be in this like totally different climate. And we got to exchange our ideas, and it was a lot of fun. And like the others, I gained a lot of friends also from maybe like like friends that I wouldn't have maybe met without Field Academy, also from all different age groups. So I think that was also a really great thing.
Cool. So I think maybe the question that would be on my mind if I were a new student coming in, what's it like, and this is a question in the chat too, is what's it like being a new student there, and is it easy to make friends, and what's it really like to come as a new student?
I feel it's definitely a lot easier than I expected it to be. Like I made friends really instantly, like both with like day students and my housemates. Like Sophie's in my house, and all of our housemates, like we just connected like almost instantly, and it's never a dull moment with them. And everybody's really friendly at Ross, and the teachers and the administration and all the students, they do everything possible to make you feel welcome and comfortable, and they really like, because sometimes like in some schools you get kind of the status of like a newbie, or like you're not really, you haven't been there for forever. But at Ross it's like, even though there are people like India who have been there for 15 years, like for literally like a decade, it they really make you feel welcome, like you've been there for like all those years. So it's
And
Okay.
also for like international students, like I was really scared to like be like in a new like area. Like I traveled a long way to the US, and I was just scared that I'm not gonna like find any friends. And just like Bettina said, it's like it happens really quickly, especially as a boarder. And my experience, and also in the first few days, there were some tests, like, and I was also scared of the tests. We had an English test for the internationals and a math test, and for some reason I was like scared of them, but like at the end it was really fine. They're not like judging you or anything. They just want to like find like the perfect class for you, or like where you can like benefit the most. And in the first few days, a lot of organizational stuff, and just like don't be afraid to like talk to people if you want to do like something specific. For example, me, I wanted to do French, and there are not actually that many French learning students. So just don't be afraid to like ask people for help and tell them like what your visions are and like what you like to do.
Mm-hmm. Emory?
New students at Ross, I came in knowing a few people, and it's a small town in East Hampton, so in some ways it was easier for me as a day student, but I was just surprised on my first day how many people came up and said hello and were just very welcoming. And I think because it's a small school, I think people are nice to each other and rely on each other, and it's not very cliquey. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it's just a really great social environment overall.
Mm-hmm. India, before you answer, I'm gonna put this caveat on it, and I'm gonna ask this because the boarding school I was at prior to this was an arts boarding school, and so very specifically, you had to not only be accepted to the school, but you also had to be accepted artistically, and so having a campus full of artists naturally made everyone really open, and they would say the same things you're saying right now, and so my question for you is, and for India and for everyone, is what do you think it is about Ross that makes everyone so open? Yeah, I mean, because it's not your normal school, of course, but it is an academic, and it's not an art school, it's not a sports school, it's Ross. So what do you think makes it a special enough place that everyone is so open?
I would say there are really no rules. I mean, there are rules in terms of like structure and the way you have to behave, but in terms of speaking your mind, you can say whatever you want to say, and the teachers will totally accept it. And no one judges you based on your opinion ever. I have never felt judged before by any of my classmates. Some students will bring up controversial viewpoints that some people don't agree on, but it's not like we hold those against them ever. We just totally accept how everyone feels, and that creates an environment where we all feel safe to talk about any topic or discuss or even debate anything. So it's really great because Ross students they're very open and they're very outgoing, and I think that's just a result of growing up in this kind of environment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember I was really, really shy, starting off in, I think, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade-ish. But then once I got to the upper campus, everyone was just so accepting that I totally felt safe to speak my mind, and now I just can't stop talking, so.
Any thoughts on that, the other three?
Yeah, I think that also like the constant change in Ross is also making it like a really open place. Like there are a lot of new students every year. I felt like it, like I only have experience from this year, but I think because it's so like international, people are like more willing to like accept other views and opinions than like, for example, like I had to move to a school where I was the only new student from a different country, and it just like feels a lot different here, like India said, because like nobody's really like judging you based on your opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, any thoughts on that, Emory or Bettina?
I think it just also plays into the size of the school, which, going back to iPhone's question, is I think its greatest strength. And because it's small, you kind of know everybody. So there's not real room to make judgments about people because you really are going to be familiar with everybody else that's in the school. But at the same time, there's enough people where you can always find somebody that has similar interests to you as well.
And I feel like the Ross environment is just this like beautiful mixing pot of like diversity and like different cultures that you're always going to feel accepted because you're never going to be the odd one out. So I feel like that's why everyone's so open there.
Cool. Good. We've got a few questions, but I'm going to jump around a little bit. What would you say the daily routine is like for a boarding student, both during the school and in holidays? Would you say it's a relaxed environment, or is it a really intense environment? Bettina and Sophie can speak to that. Mm-hmm.
I'd say honestly it's a little bit of both. Like it can get tough at times, but at the same time we have like all these resources and all the staff and the administration, and they're always there, like not especially for boarders, but considering that boarders are like away from home and away from family, they really do care for you like in those intense moments. So daily life, we breakfast starts at school at like 7, and then we have from 7 to 8 to get to class, and at 8 classes start. And then Sophie can speak more about like the afternoon life, since because I'm in tennis academy, so I only really get out at like 5:30, and then we have from 4:45 to 6 for dinner, and then after that we go back to our boarding houses. And some boarding houses, like depending on the house parents, they differ in the like the night time routine. Like some enforce the like the studying at night and doing homework, like everybody gets together and studies. Some just kind of like let you lay back and like take responsibility for that. And yeah, I feel like it's mostly relaxed, like, and borders also, like their city trips, and during the week, during the holidays, I mean, we get to go home. And if we can't go home, like for Thanksgiving, there are options available for borders as well. So yeah, I think Sophie can speak more about the like afternoon boarding life as well.
Yeah, so just like Bettina said, like in the morning we get all together on one of the typical American yellow buses, and then they pick up like they drive around different boarding houses, because the boarding houses are about 10 minutes from school, so it's like really not a long ride. And then like we all eat together, and it's relaxed. We have a lot of time. And yeah, afternoon we just have like electives like all of the other students, like the day students, and there's really like not much of a like separation. And then after school, like school ends at 3:45, and some of my friends, we can start like clubs. For example, we had kind of an unofficial one where we basically just stayed in this one classroom, and it was a philosophy club, and sometimes some teachers were joining. It was just like really relaxed. And after school you're also allowed to go to East Hampton or like any other town, but you have to be back for the bus at 6. And most students eat dinner. Like I think almost every boarding student eats dinner at school. And on Saturday, we do have to go to school, but the bus takes us at 10:45, so we get to like sleep a little bit longer, and then we have brunch there. And based on my opinion, I think that the brunch is like the best breakfast out of like all of the breakfasts from Monday through Friday. It's like a huge like brunch thing. You can like eat a lot of different things, and after that you can do whatever you want. You can go to town. Sometimes we have city trips to New York, and there was also a trip to a shopping center. And you do not have to eat brunch in school, but you can stay at the boarding house Saturdays, because like nobody's there to like supervise you. But on Sunday we stay home, and in the evening we can either cook or we order food, which we did most of the times because we were just too lazy to cook. And I think it's really I think it's relaxed, but also not too relaxed. Like the amount of work that you get is pretty okay. Some students like to, like, I think it just depends on the students, because some students they do like a lot of work voluntarily, because like they're just that type of person who like spends a lot of time on their homework and like does a lot of too much work also, which I do sometimes. And yeah, I think it's just really great being a boarding student, because I get along great with my housemates, and it's just like kind of like another family that you have.
So we have a question in the chat while you're talking about this, is talk more about East Hampton. Can you guys talk about the towns that the houses are in and that you can go and hang out in a little bit more? Do you guys prefer Sag Harbor over East Hampton or Amagansett, or what are your favorite places to hang out in near the towns near the school?
There's a lot of different. Oh, Tina, you can go.
You go.
Okay, there's a lot of different small towns, so it's not just East Hampton. I mean, that's the town that Ross School's in, and it's probably a 7-minute drive to. But what's nice is that in the area, there are a lot of other towns. There's Sag Harbor, there's Bridgehampton, even Amagansett, and they're all a little bit different, and they all have like a nice little town center, and you can go shopping there. And there's just a lot of nice stuff in the whole area. Like you can go to the beach in the fall or the spring, and the water stays warm for a long time. So like it's kind of like a local tip. Like you can still go swimming in October, even when the air's cool, because the water stays warm. And the school, it's very close to the town. It's like a 7-minute drive, and all the boarding houses are pretty close. And you can just take Ubers and get around pretty easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where are your favorite spots to go?
I like John Papa's in East Hampton Town. Favorite restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
I love Sag Harbor because it's very low key. East Hampton's great if you want to go shopping. There are a lot of like fancy stores. Sag Harbor is more boutique-y, you know, and you can go get coffee there. It's more relaxed and laid back. So I love Sag Harbor the best, I think. I'm partial because I live here, but
It's also right on the water too, which is nice about Sag Harbor. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the ceremony for becoming a new Ross student is going to Budaberry in Sag Harbor. Like that's definitely a must. Like you have to go to Budaberry in Sag Harbor, and it's like frozen yogurt and ice cream, and it's the best place.
Mm-hmm. Can you explain a little bit more how Saturday works so Saturday this is a question in the chat, but just to be clear, Saturday is a day for boarding students because the house parents, essentially it's because the house parents get a break on Saturdays for that like 10:45 to 6 p.m. So it's free for students, but they do have to leave the boarding houses. So they have opportunities to come to school. They can come to the school and have brunch and hang out there all day. There are often things going on or trips going on, or they can leave, like Sophie said. But it's not, Sophie, and Bettina, can you talk a little bit more about what that is? Like, what do you do with your Saturdays normally?
Yeah, so like Saturdays, no school, just to be clear, like we don't have school Saturdays. And what I used to do is Saturday, sometimes there's boxing, but that's just like what I did. So I know that like a lot of other students, they just like visit the towns, like hang around East Hampton or Sag Harbor. Sometimes I know that before math midterms, I knew that some were studying together at the school. So it's also great if you want to like study one day because you're all there together. And some other students maybe hang out with their day students, friends, or they go to New York City. Maybe if they have like family there. I know that a lot of Ross boarding students know people in New York City. But yeah, you're free to do whatever you want. We went to the beach a lot, and I see there are questions about boxing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like it's not an elective at the school, but they offered boxing Saturdays. Like we go to this one gym, and there's a boxing teacher, and another teacher from Ross, Kathy Yu, and she goes with us. She's also, I think, a boxing teacher. And then yeah, we just did, I think, 1 hour of boxing, and then sometimes we went back to school. And unfortunately, we stopped having boxing because the teacher was not available. But we were thinking about like trying to get boxing as an elective or like after school activity in Ross.
Bettina, what do you do on Saturdays?
Well, it depends. Like I always try to go for brunch, and if not, then sometimes like we might go out to eat, or like India said, like go and get some coffee in Sag Harbor because the grindstone. And, but yeah, like there's trips offered every Saturday. It's not like a trip. They take you to Bridgehampton Commons or East Hampton. And Bridgehampton Commons is where the big like supermarket, like the big grocery store is. And there's like Panera and Kmart and like Ulta. So it's some of like the bigger, like more well-known stores if you want to get some like necessities. And then East Hampton, I guess, is like a place where we usually go to hang out. Like there's a movie theater, there's John Papa's, there's all these like restaurants. So yeah. And I saw a question, in order to leave the school, if they have to give permission. if the parents have to give permission. It depends. Like if you're staying overnight, there's a weekly like sign up form that you have to turn in by Wednesday at midnight if you're staying like overnight somewhere. But if you make it back in curfew, then your parents don't have to let you know. You just have to like let the house parents know where you are. And yeah, I mean, some like, is it like maybe once a month, would you say, Sophie? Like once a month, like a month and a half that we have city trips to New York City?
Yes, usually once a month.
Yeah, and then when we have those trips, we're just free to do whatever we want in New York City. And yeah. All right, yeah, like we have like a time that we have to be back by the jitney, but they just kind of let you roam around the city and do your own thing with your friends. And if you want to see like people that you know in the city, then you're free to do that.
Kate, can you clarify in the chat, do you mean can day students stay at the boarding houses? And they can't, right, Sophie and Bettina?
I don't think they can at our house. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
It depends what house you're in and like what your house parent says about that.
I know that it works the other way around though. If you're a boarding student, you can stay over at a day student's house.
Yeah.
Permission.
Just like with the permission of your parents.
Okay.
But, yeah.
I mean, I think the basically it is that if your house parents, like your regular parents, if they know where you are, and they approve, right, you get permission, then you can essentially do it, right?
Yeah, and also if you want to stay overnight somewhere, there has to be a person that's over 21. And yeah, like you can't stay with somebody that's like, I don't know, 11 or something.
Right, just like a random friend.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. We are, as we does Jada or Laura and Anna or Nina have any questions, or anyone have any questions you want to ask?
I think there's still one that we haven't answered.
Yeah.
The sports question.
The which one?
The sports question.
Oh yeah, great, good, thank you. Do you want to answer?
Yeah, I can answer. So you don't have to be experienced for any athletics at Ross. Like I started surfing in fall, and I've done like other kinds of surfing, but never wave surfing. And I was really terrible at it first, but it was also a lot of fun. So you do not have to be experienced. And I also know a few friends that joined like volleyball team or something, and they did not have experience either. Yeah.
And I'm gonna ask Jada and Laura and Anna and maybe Nina if she wants to just because Nina was in the first session too. Oh, got it. Okay, and I'm reading the chat at the same time. So I'm going to ask you guys just to tell us a little bit about maybe the thing that you're most excited about potentially when you come to Ross. Maybe a little bit about yourself and your interests and what you're most interested in trying at Ross. Jada, can I start with you?
Okay, well, when I did my interview with you, what really made me the most interested in Ross was when you told me about the trips for classes, because I am the type of girl that loves to travel. So if I am able to travel while learning, I think I would be extremely happy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to try out new clubs that I have never heard of before or don't have no experience in at all. Like I think I saw something about snowboarding.
But there are ski trips, right?
Yeah, I was at the ski trip. There's a ski trip once a year, and we went to Gemini Peak in Massachusetts, and you don't have to be experienced in skiing or snowboarding. I was, just because here in Germany I live in the mountains, and we drive there with a teacher, and we stay overnight at this hotel, and then the next day we ski, all day, or snowboard. And they let you, like, there are classes that you can take, but they also let you like ski on your own, so it was really cool. I had a lot of fun.
Cool.
Okay. And then the other thing I'm really excited about is meeting the students because from what I can see and hear, you all are very nice and friendly, and I'm just excited to experience something new
Cool.
and make new friends.
Cool. Yeah. We're excited too. Well, I'm just a lame adult, but I'm excited too. So I'm gonna, before we go to Laura and Anna, I'm gonna address Nina's question so we get this question a lot in the admissions office too. Like the first thing they want to know is, can we go to New York City and can we go alone? And like, what's that really like? So if anybody wants to address this, just talk about like what really the rules are and how it really works, that'd be cool.
We're if we want to stay overnight, we can go to New York City alone. It's just, we just have to like let the house parents know where we are, and like obviously like your parents should know that you're going. And if you're staying overnight, then you need to stay with someone like over 21, right? Mm-hmm. And you have to sign out in the form that they give you, and you have to let everybody know. But if you're going just for like a day, there's the jitney and there's a train. Sometimes we've done that a couple times, right, Sophie? Like we just the jitney and we just stay for a day and then we come back at night for curfew. Curfew on Fridays is 10, 11. It depends on your house parent. And on Saturday also like 10, 11. So you just need to be back on time. But other than that, like the weekends, you're usually free to like do whatever, not whatever, but like to do whatever you can within the limits of school, as long as you like come back for curfew and you follow the rules and stuff. So it's really like, if just like follow the rules and you'll be fine. Like you'll have so much fun over the weekends. Like you're just free to do pretty much whatever.
And I mean, you could get to the city in a day, right? If you wanted to. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I did a lot of times because my parents don't let me stay overnight because they just like I don't know anybody there. So we like get up in the morning and we take the jitney. It's like a bus. It's like 2 to 3 hours, and then we like have the whole day, and then we just get back before curfew. So
cool. Question really quickly. Who wants to talk about the homework load and if there's help for you if you get behind?
I can answer that one. So the homework load, it really depends on the student. You can make more work for yourself or you could get it done really quickly. I have had students in my class that can get it done in like 25 minutes. I have other students who take 2 hours, and then there are people like me who like take the entire day just because I'm slow and I enjoy the process. A lot of the homework assignments at Ross, they're actually really enjoyable. They're not like standardized test prep like you'd get at other schools. A lot of them just ask you to think about the topics you're learning and kind of input your opinion about them. So sometimes they can be really fun. I mean, I love to write, so I have fun every single night doing the assignments. I think they're really great. And the teachers really do put a lot of effort into making each individual assignment interesting. So it almost doesn't even really feel like homework at all. And also at Ross, it's less test-based and more project-based. You learn to become really good at, presenting and getting up on stage in front of people, and also doing interesting artistic projects, and again exploring different sides of yourself. A lot of the assignments are interpretational, so depending on your skill level or your interest in different areas, you can kind of morph the assignment to what fits your needs. And the teachers are always open to your own interpretations on different issues. And then in terms of help, the teachers are always willing to give you help, no matter what time of day. I have a lot of teachers where I have their personal numbers in my phone, and if I get stuck at like 9 o'clock at night, they let me call them and we chat and we figure it out and we get through all those conflicts. There are also a lot of teachers at Ross that specifically help students that take more time on tests or that have issues understanding certain topics like math, for example. So that's really great. And I sometimes use that as a resource, and anyone can. So that's really nice. There's always teachers there to help you if you need help on work. Teachers also have a lot of different extra help time hours, whether it be FaceTime or you know, at school, you can meet with them during your lunch period, or you can meet with them after school, and they're always open and willing to help you get through whatever assignments you need. Also, students too are a great resource. You know, I have a lot of students in my class. If I ever need help, I just call them up, or we'll meet in small groups and we'll actually do homework assignments together so none of us get stuck. So it's really great. So those are great resources that you can use.
Cool. Before I move on to the next thing, I'm just going to briefly warn, as I learn Zoom, I'm a little worried that it's going to cut me off at noon. So if that happens, I apologize. But just with the last couple of minutes, I'm going to unmute Anna and Laura. And just, I met them just recently in Brazil. They are both coming for, hopefully for the summer, to the tennis camp. But they're both excellent tennis players, and they did the clinic with your dad, Bettina. Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted you, if you guys want to tell a little bit about yourselves and what your interests are.
Like, I liked a lot about what it talked about Rose, because I was afraid that I would be like, it would be hard for me to make friendships there, and then listening to you guys talking, that it's not so hard, made me feel comfortable. And my I love the idea of the tennis camp and the tennis academy, and I love the school. Like, when you were talking to me here in Brazil and you explained everything, I think it was really nice.
Mhm.
And I would really enjoy going.
Yeah, well, I mean, I hope so. She's in high demand. She's already locked down somewhere else, but we'll try to get her. Laura, are you in 7th grade right now?
Hey,
8th grade right now. Okay, so you're looking at 9th grade next year?
yes.
You'll
Okay.
be going into my sister's class.
Yeah. And you're also interested, if you came to Ross, would you be interested in RSTA, the tennis academy, you think?
I think, yeah.
Maybe?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Cool. Well, if we don't get cut off at noon, I'm gonna ask the current students maybe to share one last bit of advice. But before you do that, if you guys could type in maybe your emails in the chat, so that I'm sure that you would all be willing to get an email if you guys have questions for them, or to stay in contact via Snap, or whatever you guys are doing these days, or Instagram. But yeah, so any parting words of wisdom from our ambassadors, and like advice for students coming to school at Ross?
Just a quick question. Do we type in the emails, or?
Yeah. You guys as ambassadors, yeah.
Oh.
And then you guys can reach out to them if you want to, of course. Yeah.
I would just say, don't be afraid. Coming to Ross is going to be a really fun experience, I promise you. Everyone's going to support you. I know it probably will be scary at first because it's coming to a whole new country and it's leaving your families, and that's totally understandable. And as a day student, I've never experienced that before, so I have so much sympathy for all of you guys, but it's really going to be an easy transition, I promise, and everyone's going to be there to help you. I personally won't be, but everyone else on this chat will be. And all the students at Ross are really, really amazing, and they're all open to making new friends. So don't be afraid to just go up to someone and be like, hi, my name is blank, and I would love to be your friend. And I promise you they will respond positively. So yeah.
Excellent.
Building on what India said, I would just say be outgoing, just talk to new teachers, new students, and just, you never know what you could learn from who. And there's just so many interesting people and so many interesting opportunities to take advantage of. So I just say, do whatever you want, take the electives that you want. Don't be shy to take some class that you might think is weird, or you think you don't have any experience with, because you never know where it could take you.
Awesome.
Yeah, also a little bit like India and Emory said, just like, don't be afraid to like ask others for help. And if you really have something that you're interested in, but like you can't like find anything like that it has to do with as a Ross elective, then just like talk to people to like try to make it happen, because like most of the times it will happen. And yeah, just like don't be afraid to like talk to people and ask for help. And like, for example, in my old school, it was just you sit there and you listen, you go home, and there's no further interaction. But in Ross, like, students communicate with teachers and they have a good relationship. So yeah.
Yeah, kind of. This is kind of what everybody said, but yeah, like, don't be afraid to reach out. Like, there's never a dull moment at Ross, and you're gonna get so many opportunities to like find things that you like really love doing and that you really want to do. So yeah, just reach out to people, reach out to the teachers. They're gonna help you so much, and yeah.
There's never a dull moment at Ross. That is for sure. And I'm gonna quote India that you got to get ready for the big Ross hug. The big Ross hug.
Ross hugs you.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, despite technical difficulties, turned out to be a really great session, and I thank my student ambassadors for that, and for everybody who put in the password to get here. So if you have any questions, of course, you can reach out to me and any of the students on this Zoom meeting. And if anybody has any last minute questions, let me know, of course. But otherwise, we look forward to seeing Nina and hopefully Laura and Anna soon, and Jada and everyone else on the call. And maybe we'll do things like this again. So if you found it beneficial, feel free to give us some feedback as well. Okay. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.